What's a truth about adulthood that no one prepares you for? Story 1. The absolute evaporation of friends and friend groups has been the hardest thing to come to terms with. I'm in my late 30s, and I still think of the people I was in undergrad with, 2004, 2008, and how close we were, and now it's like it never even happened. Answer: yeah, we had an amazing crew from 99-2000 all the way until 2016-17, when the babies started coming and people moved away. I have a busy life now filled with purpose and a child of my own, but will never really get over how that season of my life is well and truly over. The parties, the events, the non-stop stories, and constant laughter. Miss the boys. Story 2. How much timing matters. Maybe you're single and she's single, but not at the same time. You're looking for a job and find your dream job a week after it's filled. A 1985 Ford F250 from Alberta becomes available, but then gets sold 3 weeks before your Nissan's transmission goes, and so on. So much potential, so many opportunities, so few times that things line up. Story 3. Maturity doesn't always come with age. A lot of adults still have the mind of a high schooler and move through life making decisions with that mentality. Answer: and they're all on dating apps now. Unfortunately, I did not know how to get my own mental health shoot together till my 30s, so it's only within the last 5-6 years that I think I've become a much more suitable long-term dating partner myself, so I'm still out there. I try not to judge, but if you go into a dating app in your 30s expecting to meet someone your age that has any sense of perspective, you're gonna be there a while. Story 4. That being happy might not work out. You don't find love. You never find the job you like. And eventually you'll find yourself perpetually alone, crying to go to sleep every night, wondering what else you could have done better. Story 5. You will have to face a relentless, endless, exhausting, soul-sucking wave of meals, many each days, that you have to prepare yourself and then eat. Answer: I'm nearly 40 and really don't think I've ever felt this way. Learn to cook well, and every meal is an option to do something fun or experimental or fancy. Or not. I eat plenty of frozen pizza, but it's never felt like, goddamn, I have to feed myself. I cook for my wife and son every day, and it's even better than all the years of cooking for myself. The only soul-sucking I associate with cooking is what happens when I make steak for my wife, and that's definitely not a bad thing. Story 6. You can eat whatever you want whenever you want, and now it's up to you to not eat yourself to heart disease, which is tough. Story 7. You can never be done doing the dishes. Unless someone else does them for you, or you just never use dishes at home, you'll be stuck in a cycle of doing dishes and putting them away. Same with laundry. Story 8. It mostly sucks because of capitalism and work culture, and people are brainwashed into thinking that's just the way it is. Story 9. If you find yourself in a room where you are the smartest person, do everything you can to get out of that room. Story 10. The fact that people think your life stops at age 30. I've never had more fun in my life. Yeah, sure, I get the odd knee pain here and there, but I've been more out and about, traveled more, and made more friends now than I have in my 20s. Roll on the 40s, I say. Story 11. Hard work is not always going to be the ticket to getting what you want, or in some cases need. A lot of success is just dumb luck or being in the right place at the right time. Story 12. It fundamentally isn't fair, and no amount of effort on your part can change that. Try to enjoy young adulthood as much as you can. See your friends as often as you can. If someone offers you an experience, even if you don't feel it's for you, take it. Guard your free time viciously. People, even your loved ones, will take it from you without asking. Your life is yours to control. You get one go at it. It's better to realize this when you're young. Story 13. That your closest relatives would do literally anything to cheat you out of something you're inheriting. Story 14. Life is longer than you think. The largest challenge is not achieving a goal, but living the tedium of everyday life. Story 15. If you are going into the adult environment expecting people to be more mature compared to school, you are going to be disappointed. Story 16. You don't have to be age-appropriate to be an adult. Some start at 16 and some can't even start at 30. Story 17. No one is coming to save you, fix, shoot for you. If you're lucky, you have a supportive and broad network that can help you when things are hard, but they cannot be a substitute for you taking care of yourself. Finances, relationships, career, mental health, family, living situations you need to recognize and solve, or attempt to, solve your own problems and issues. Even if that means asking for specific help, I'm not saying you have to go it alone. 100. But you are in charge of your life. The more you spend waiting for others to make you happy, successful, fulfilled, safe, the more time is partied to. Hard. The sooner you realize this, the better. Life is wonderful, awful, sad, and meaningful, and you are the only one living your life. Story 18. At 21, you fart and then find out that you're 30. At 30, you find out you can't trust that birthday fart. By the time you've cleaned yourself up, you find out you're 45 and start to realize how youth is partied too hard on the young. Also, looking after aging relatives is more exhausting than looking after children. Story 19. You will lose touch with a lot of close friends, and it becomes really hard to develop new relationships like that again with new people. Everyone is just so busy with their own lives. Story 20. You're taught at school that if you're smart and apply yourself, you'll go far. But that just isn't true. In this world, unless you look a certain way, doors are shut. Being smart on its own isn't good enough for others. You also have to look good. Also, you can have half the talent or ability, but if you look really good, you will go further than someone who is a lot better at it, but doesn't look so good. Story 21. First 30 years is saying hello. The rest is saying goodbye. Doesn't matter how well off you are, raising good kids is always hard. It just is. Most people don't think, and if they do, they're not thinking about you. When push comes to shove, your employer sees you as a number on a list, not a person. The larger the company, the more true this is, and the Sinatra classic. All of this stuff, we're just renting it. Story 22. The adults don't know everything for certain, and that they are still figuring things out themselves. Story 23. Look after your body, don't take risks with it, or it won't last. Always take accountability for yourself. We all make mistakes. It's how you manage the resolution that is the measure of a person. Story 24. That everything doesn't just fall into place on its own. Wife, family, career, finances, it's all hard work. Story 25. How many times I have to think about what I'm going to have for dinner explains why my mother was always so pissed off. Story 26. That when people give advice, it's usually to justify to themselves of their own decisions in the past. No one knows you like you do. Story 27. I'm going to come off as some jaded old guy, but life isn't fair. It isn't about what we deserve. We will be wronged and we will wrong others. Fairness is a human concept because we figured out that as a whole, we are better when we cooperate. and that requires fairness. So in a world of bad luck and cruel chaos, bring fairness and kindness to the table. Story 28. Most of your friends are contextual. Once you remove work, school, or some other large shared organization, you'll realize there's only a handful of people you actually are deep connected to. This can still be a fulfilling life, however. Another one is finding a soulmate, or SO, that for whatever reason, kids, distance, jobs, etc., you guys can't ever be together in the way you would like. Story 29. It's hard and sad to watch your parents grow old. The people who were once rocks to you become fragile and less capable, and it doesn't stop. Story 30. How boring and repetitive things are. Same job, same shoot every single day is basically the same as the last, unless you have the energy to improve in a hobby outside of work. Story 31. Rich people rarely, if ever, tell the truth as they believe it. They're simply presenting arguments they hope you'll believe, so it strengthens their advantage over you. Story 32. That you'll understand when you're older is just code for you'll be tired, broke, and emotionally numb, but too busy to care. Story 33. That you will suffer no matter what. Either you choose to chase your dreams and goals and suffer through all the stress and hard work needed to reach them, or you choose not to fulfill your potential and take the easier path, but then suffer from regret, depression. Story 34. Life is not fair. You can do everything you are supposed to do and things still may not turn in your favor. At the same time, you can screw around and still become successful. One must put in the effort because even with things not being fair, it will still put you in a better position than not doing anything at all. Story 35. Sometimes you'll see a tiny bug on your ceiling crawling around, but will be too lazy to do anything about it. You'll eventually forget it was ever there and go about your day until you fall asleep. You'll wake up, having completely forgotten about that bug on your ceiling. Days will go by, weeks, months, years. Then, one day, you'll remember that bug. You'll realize you weren't truly alone the days that bug was around, but you forgot about it anyway. It knew of your presence the whole time. You were a literal big part of its world and daily life, even if you didn't know it. However, now that bug is dead, it is gone. You only just realized. Now you are alone. You spent all those days ignorant of a creature around you, but now that you are the one forgotten, you understand its pain. All too late. Days will go by, weeks, months, years, and who will remember you? Story 36. You'll attend a lot of funerals and weddings. Choose your inner circle wisely. It could even be just 1 or 2 people. You will be going at your own pace, not everyone else's. So make sure you're doing what makes you happy, not what looks happy. There is nothing in life that will be thrown at you that you can't overcome. Doesn't mean go at it alone. You will have to ask for help. There will be things that will challenge and change you, and it is hard to say no if you haven't found your voice. Find it and use it. You will have to set boundaries with everyone in one way or another. Family, workmates, colleagues, friends, etc. Story 37. You will spend more time looking and feeling old than you will spend looking young and feeling young. Story 38. People treat you older as you age, even though in your head you still feel a lot younger. People in their 20s and 30s start talking to you in a tone that sounds like they're being condescending, even though they're not trying to. Employers and your kids assume you're out of touch, and even if you are, they talk to you like you should know. We're not in school anymore. We work and raise families. How the heck do we keep up? Story 39. How insanely hard it is to find the time to do anything. Meeting up with friends, finding the time to play that game, or read that book you've been looking forward to. Not happening. Story 40. You're in charge of your life. Everything is your choice. You can choose to watch television, play games, and scroll social media even when you're miserable. Or you can meet people, enjoy nature, and level up. You can choose to have roommates or live in a dump to save a bunch of money and set yourself up for life. Or you can whine about how you dislike living with people and fall behind. You can choose a job that pays well now but has no opportunities for growth, then stagnate in 20 years. Or you can choose to learn now, work for a pittance, and continuously improve so you're higher level and skilled in 20 years. You can choose to blame other people or groups or governments or situations for your problems and be a perpetual victim of them. Or you can choose to change your own circumstances and feel powerful. Choose. Story 41. Showing up early and ready to work puts you ahead of 80 of the rest of the world. You make your luck. The world is filled with assholes. Being nice isn't weakness. Story 42. Time is worth more than money. Spend as much quality time with your family as you can. Of course, everyone needs money. An extra few bucks is not worth much if your own kids barely know you because you work 80 hours per week. Story 43. I used to think adults had it all together when I was a kid. I'm now realizing we're all just winging it and trying our best. Story 44. The workplace is just grown-up high school. Same cliques, same assholes, same drama queens, same toxic gossip. All of it. Story 45. Bad. Life just consists of tidying the kitchen over and over again until you just fudge die good. You can buy as much chocolate and fireworks as you want, and no one can stop you. Story 46. Just how shoot people can really be, and blood is definitely not thicker than water. Wow, that is totally negative. I'm not a negative person, but these are totally true, unfortunately. Story 47. You still think that you'll be the generation to reach a 150 years of age through science and a little bit of magic, but you won't. You'll wither and age like your grandma did. So prepare yourself now. Story 48. A lot of social connection is simply the result of being in the same place a lot. The older and more independent you get, the more that stops happening naturally and the more you have to make it happen intentionally. Story 49. In terms of total hours together, when you reach adulthood and move out, you've likely already spent 90 or more of the time you'll ever have with your parents and siblings. Story 50. Be wary of friends, acquaintances, and/or co-workers who want to know lots about you. Take most of the unsolicited advice they give you with a grain of salt, too. Story 51. Life is messy. Things are not often black and white. So much exists in the gray. You can make the right choice and still feel awful. You can do everything right and things go wrong. You can want something and know it's not right for you. There can be a lot of navigating the in-between space. And it's not necessarily bad. There can be beauty in complexity. Story 52. Your personal life is just an unpaid second job. There is always something that needs done. Cook this, clean that, fix those or call someone or replace them. Put these away. Laundry, groceries, errands, and life admin. Get the car serviced, fixed, fueled, washed, whatever. Dentist. Pay that bill. Take the refuse out. Story 53. If you're not wealthy, every failure and mistake punishes you hard. When you are your own safety net, the margin for error is mostly zero. Story 54. At some point, everyone in the generation above you in your family will be gone. Then your generation will start to die. My parents are dead. I had 14 aunts and uncles growing up, only 2 left in their late 80s. Half of my cousins are gone. I'm the youngest of my siblings, so I may be the last one living someday. Story 55. That you will still get scared sometimes when you're in bed at night after watching or reading horror. Not sure why, but it's this fact that always surprises me. I had a very dysfunctional childhood with abuse, so I think I always knew adults were often very wrong. I never had that phase of believing my adults were perfect. But I did think that being an adult would mean you know, beyond any doubt, that there's no such thing as monsters. They could be wrong, they could be absolutely cruel, petty people, but I just thought they seemed very confident about imaginary things. Story 56. Most adults don't take accountability and responsibility for their actions and downfalls in life. Someone or something else has to take the blame. Story 57. While support is available, realistically, you have to do everything for yourself on your own. The concept of this that I understood as a teen was far more shallow than it actually is. Answer. And support people, social workers, charity workers, etc., aren't always as helpful as you need them to be. I get support from an autism charity that's supposed to help me keep track of bills, and instead my support person has asked me what her other clients are supposed to do about theirs. I don't know, I just have companies send me paper bills and I pay whatever comes in the post. Story 58. Your parents turn into toddlers, wetting themselves, and you care for them while you watch them die slowly. Also, when they get taken into the hospital, if they are a fall risk, no one will get them out of bed, and their muscles atrophy. I taught my parents how to walk again 3 different times. It's painful to go through. I had no idea. If your parents are alive, get them working out with weight training and eating healthy. Story 59. Your family members are not going to be there for you when you need them, nor are 90 of your friends. Story 60. You can start a new career, go back to school, expunge criminal records sometimes, build back up awful credit, build a new life. I've since met people in their 60s getting new degrees and starting new careers. I've met people who didn't start therapy until 50 and have reconnected with friends and family in healthy ways. I've met grandmothers who are taking up childhood crafts and living their dreams. Life is hard, but it's not over until it is over. Story 61. You may still be growing and learning, but you might not be ready to leave the house and be an adult the instant you turn 18. Sometimes you have more growing to do. But tell someone you're living at home at age 18 and you're shunned for being a leech on your parents. Story 62. That the lyrics of Glory Days really do come true. Once you get so far down the line, you continually look back to those great memories and hang on them for happy thoughts and just comfort. Growing up as a kid, traditions that your parents did, raising your own kids, and all the friends you've made along life's way. You never really realized that all those times you were just living through in your life, you were making memories that you would cherish so very much and cling to for happiness as you move through life and age. Story 63. Don't take, give. Do nice things for others. It's not a competition. You don't need everything. Being polite and kind is its own reward. I do nice things for people because I like to give to them, not because they like it or even need it. If a company has an HR department, they aren't worth working for. I'm not going to claim all HR people are evil garbage, but it means the people running the company don't have time to worry about the employees. They should worry about the employees. Story 64. Your eyes go to hell. Hair grows in annoying places. You have to relearn everything you thought you knew about nutrition, just to name a few. Story 65. You're going to get your heart broken so bad that it's going to feel like you lost your soul and feel dead alive. Story 66. Yung hindi mo na madalas makakatch up or makausap mga kaibigan mo from high school and college kasi busy na with their own work. You'll meet new set of friends na eventually isa-isa din mawawala sa workplace. Story 67. Learn the difference between good people and those trying to look good. Dead eyes are usually a giveaway. They will hurt you for gain. Story 68. That during and/or after menopause, you will gain weight. Does not matter how severe your symptoms, does not matter if you have children or not, does not matter anything. You will gain weight. Might be a few, might be a lot. Story 69. You have to deal with the aging and infirmity of your parents, and if they live long enough, things like caring for them when they get dementia and are unable to even recognize you or where they are. Dealing with this now with my wife's parents, and it's a full-time job for her, even with hired helpers. Heartbreaking too, as her mother is sometimes convinced she's not at home and loudly demands to be taken back there, or doesn't recognize her husband and asks when he'll be back, even though she's at home and her husband is too. Fortunately, I do okay money-wise. I have no idea how people without cash can possibly cope. If my wife had to work at a full-time job, there is no way she could do what she does. I guess her parents could go in an old-age home, but they are either very expensive or very unpleasant, plus lengthy waiting lists to get into any that are nearby. No one really prepares you for this. Story 70. If you want to eat, you gotta make it. Or DoorDash it, I guess. As a kid, when I was hungry, there was always food. Now I gotta do stuff to get food. Sucks. Did not sign up for it. Story 71. Friendships come and go, and you will keep in contact only with those close to you, and maybe 4 since childhood. Story 72. The only person who will care about you is yourself. Not your SO, not your kids, not your work colleagues, not your varsity friends. It's not a slight against them. It's just that they're all too busy with their own lives. And that's okay. At some point, you've got to be the captain of your own ship and get to where you need to go on your own sails. That was a very sobering realization for me. Story 73. The bills. Water, sewage, electric gas, council tax, car tax, insurance, phone, and more. Also, the continuous work necessary to pay the aforementioned bills. Story 74. No man is an island, but a good chunk of people don't care about you. Cut them out without regret, and you'll be happier for it. Also, the best friends in life won't care that you haven't talked in a year. They'll catch up with you, and it will be as if no time has passed at all. Story 75. Time speeds up faster. It accelerates. 5 years now feels like 8 months in university. But also, it doesn't matter as much. You accept who you are, which changes so much you don't need to worry about time as much, just enjoying what you have. Story 76. You can't make a fort just anywhere you want, and the ramifications of that can be seen in nearly every city in America. Story 77. A huge amount of your time will be taken up by feeding yourself and your family, especially if you're a mom with young kids. Working a job to pay for food, spending time meal planning, buying the food, putting away the food, cooking the food, serving the food, clean up from the food, do the dishes. Oh, by the way, you get to do all of that again in 3 or 4 hours, 3 times a day, every day, forever. Story 78. Don't worry about the system, worry about the people in charge of enacting it. Make sure they do their job. Story 79. If you spent your teenage years,